News for the West from the studios of HTV.
Hello there, good evening. A huge search has been going on for a West Country climber lost on a Scottish mountain. Helicopters and rescue teams have been battling against Arctic conditions on Ben Nevis.
Also tonight, it's spend, spend, spend as stores lock their doors against the sales rush.
We've had to restrict entrance now because it's just got dangerous and people are still queuing. We think it's going to last all day.
And the heat is on as two of our top rugby clubs fight to beat the big drop.
Fears are growing tonight for the safety of a 53-year-old Somerset man who vanished nearly 60 hours ago on Ben Nevis near Fort William.
RAF helicopters and a relay of local rescue teams have found no trace of John Winship from Templecloud near Radstock. The operation's now being called off, and experts say if he's out in the open, he can't have survived the appalling conditions.
At first light today, rescuers were out again on the icy slopes of Ben Nevis, the highest mountain in the British Isles. But despite a massive search with the help of tracker dogs and the RAF, there was no sign of John Winship. Mr. Winship from Templecloud near Radstock in Somerset went walking in the mountains on Christmas Day. He was due to meet a friend later in a car park at Glen Nevis, but failed to arrive. The massive search began.
We've had over 60 people in the last 2 days over searching for this guy over the last 2 days. We've also had 2 helicopters searching for him, and we haven't turned them up yet.
Mr. Winship is said to be an experienced climber and was well equipped for winter weather, but he had no ice equipment with him, and the weather in the area is said to be severe, with freezing temperatures overnight and snow on the high ground. Mr. Winship, a widower, had been running a mountaineering hostel near Fort William for the past 3 months. He has 2 daughters who are being comforted by friends as they wait for news of their father. But hope is fading. Rescuers believe that if Mr. Winship is still on the mountain, the chances of finding him alive are extremely small. This evening it was decided to call off the search.
I really don't know what's happened to this gentleman. All I know is that over the last 2 days, 4 rescue teams have given this their best shot.
After 3 days missing, it now seems unlikely that John Winship will be found. His family can only go on hoping. Jackie Kabler, HTV News.
Other news now, and queues started forming well before dawn in West Country high streets, and the sales rush has been going on ever since. Traders were expecting a good day, but they say they never dreamt of anything like this. Well, Cheddar now reports from the centre of Bristol. Derek.
Thank you, Bob. Well, we're here at the galleries in Bristol, and as you can see, it's virtually all over. Well, that is until tomorrow morning at least. Well, the clean-up operation has already begun, but first thing this morning, this place was just cram-packed full of frantic shoppers, all wanting the best deal, and many were not disappointed.
They were a people with a mission, a burning ambition to hunt out the bargains and snatch them up before someone else does. The doors are open and primeval instinct takes over. It was a jungle out there.
You seem to be spending a fortune here today. Is it all worth it?
Well, yeah, if it fits and it's clothes.
If it fits. You have no idea whether any of this stuff fits you.
These are all the right sizes, but hopefully they will be suitable then.
So how much are you spending today?
Over £100.
Yeah?
My own money as well, so I'm saving it all up.
It's the day after Boxing Day. It's cold outside. You seem to be prepared just to save yourself 50 quid.
Well, yeah, but it's extra money, isn't it? And it takes time to save, so if you can save it, you might as well.
Half price, 3 for the price of 1, the words that attract attention. Everything must go. These people seem to be taking that literally. Yesterday, the centre of Bristol looked like a ghost town. Today, the city heaved with shoppers. After just a couple of hours, the signs were good. Customers were happy, the traders delighted.
We've had to restrict entrance now because it's just got dangerous and people are still queuing. We think it's going to last all day.
And that's just what happened.
I think we should be starting to think about closing the doors.
How's things on children's wear?
Yeah, all right.
Providing effective security, another aspect of the New Year's sales, which causes an enormous operational headache for those responsible.
We do draft extra people in for this operation because the first day of the sale is pretty horrendous, as you've seen this morning.
At the end of the first day, sales are up by 15% on last year. The analysts say the feel-good factor is returning. Mind you, the credit card statements haven't arrived yet.
A shopper's paradise. Well, it's been the same throughout the whole of the region, but do spare a thought for people in parts of Wiltshire and Gloucestershire. Some of the bargain hunters there had more than the queues to contend with.
It may have been the unexpected snow, it may have been post-Christmas shopping exhaustion, but at Gloucester the winter sales got off to a very slow start. Smaller high street shops didn't even open. But of the bigger stores, the busiest were those selling menswear. Shirts, jackets and trousers were to be had at bargain prices. So too were books. One store had them priced at just a penny. At Swindon, a very different shopping tale. The bargain hunters were out early, at crack of dawn, to snap up the big reductions. By daybreak, the car parks were full as shoppers made for the big stores last opened on Christmas Eve. Main targets today were electrical goods and toys, many at half price. Retailers at Swindon are already predicting record sales. The new generation of out-of-town shopping centres have also been busy wooing the bargain hunters. 10,000 eager shoppers from all over the region have been crowding the 35 stores that make up Clark's Village at Street in Somerset. Clothing and shoes are among the bargains offered for just a quarter of their normal price. Shopkeepers expect the retail rush to go on well into the new year. John Doyle, HTV News.
The till's ringing in shops across the West. Now, police are following up new leads in their hunt for the killer of teenager Louise Smith. They say the information has come from youngsters they talked to at a Christmas Eve party in the nightclub from which Louise vanished a year ago.
Good afternoon, Louise Smith Inquiry. Can I help you?
One of the dozens of calls received by police at the Louise Smith incident room. It follows an operation outside Spiral's nightclub in Yate on Christmas Eve, exactly a year after Louise was last seen alive.
Well, I'm delighted to say we've had quite a lot of new information. Some of it we knew already, some of the items we were being told we've already checked out, but there was also a lot of interesting and background information which we'll be working on, and that's encouraging.
18-year-old Louise from Chipping Sodbury was with 3 friends joining in the fun at Spiral's nightclub. She left in the early hours of Christmas morning. 8 weeks later, Louise's body was found at Barnhill Quarry, just a mile from her home. This afternoon, bargain hunters filled Yate's shopping centre, but a year on, many young people remain afraid.
I wouldn't come out certainly on my own at night. I certainly making sure there was somebody with me. I definitely wouldn't come out alone.
Well, I always ask her where does she go. She gets a bit funny about it, but I do say to her what happened to Louise can also happen to her, and the killer's still out there, isn't he?
I think people are still quite wary, especially single women, because I wouldn't go anywhere on my own now. Not at all.
As the people of Yate enjoy the remainder of the festive season, police say that someone somewhere knows something, and no matter how trivial, they should get in contact. Mark Gibson, HTV News, Yate.
And police forces all over Britain have been asked to help identify a young man who fell 200 feet to his death in Cheddar Gorge. Officers have little doubt he committed suicide, but he left no clue to his name and address or why he decided to take his life.
Alone and on Christmas Day, a young man fell from here to his death in the car park below. He chose the towering cliffs at High Rock to kill himself. Unusually, he left no note and carried nothing that would identify him. And 2 days after it happened, police still haven't a clue who he is. Today, the gorge was busy again as sportsmen practiced their skills and walkers rambled along the cliff tops. There were fewer people out and about on Christmas Day, but police believe someone may have given the man a lift to Cheddar, and they may hold a clue to his identity.
Normally there's something that gives us a clue as to who the people are, whether it be something they're carrying or whether they have a vehicle nearby. This is unusual in so much that we have unfortunately got no idea who this young gentleman was, and clearly the circumstances are very distressing and we need to identify him so we can actually deal with it properly.
This is High Rock, the spot where the young man apparently hurled himself to his death. As the rest of the country celebrated Christmas with family and friends, it appears he took the awful decision to jump. It had been 5 years since anyone had killed themselves at Cheddar, but the Samaritans are now considering advertising their helpline at the beauty spot. Meanwhile, police are asking anyone who may recognise the man's description to call them. He was of average build and had short dark hair. He was wearing a blue round-neck football shirt with Kangol written on the front, beige jeans and brown kicker shoes. Police believe the man may have visited Cheddar in happier times, and that's why he chose to die here. It's a tragic mystery which they need the public to solve.
David Woodland, HTV News, Cheddar, Gorge.
Parents are accusing developers of dragging their heels over repairs to a Gloucestershire primary school damaged by a landslip. Stroud Valley's junior school was shut in September after work on a nearby building site's believed to have caused the playground to slip downhill. Originally, it was thought the school would reopen in November. Now, parents have been told it may not be ready until next September at the earliest. No one from PRC Construction, the firm involved, was available for comment. Gloucester has a new MFI superstore again, 7 months after the original building was destroyed by fire. The new DIY store was built after the blaze in May meant the old £5 million building had to be demolished. A 17-year-old youth accused of starting the fire has been committed for trial in the new year. Well, still to come this evening on HTV News, pensioners shiver and it's cold comfort from the government.
And turning back the clock to the days of the West's black and white Christmases. We're back in just a minute.